To avoid the unhinged heiress, I pretended to be a corpse. But even with everyone watching, the woman pressed her lips to mine. I had no doubt. If I didn't wake up soon, this woman really would tear me apart and eat me alive on the deck. I sprang to my feet in panic, ran to the railing, and threatened to jump. You, don't come any closer. Yet Ruyan was certain I wouldn't dare. She calmly said, either die. When I opened my eyes, I found myself at an auction, put on display like merchandise. The instant I thought of escaping, the sight of another man's deathly condition snuffed it out. Could it be that I was really about to fall into the hands of these demons who would eat me alive? 15 million. 20 million. The bids climbed higher and higher. I trembled uncontrollably. Countless burning gazes roamed over my body, missing no inch of me. 100 million. Once. 100 million. Twice. Sold. The doors were violently kicked open with a bang. Every guest turned in terror. A group of masked men in black stormed in with guns. The crowd instantly dissolved into chaos. I had just started crawling away when a heavy body crashed onto me. I painfully turned my head and saw the auctioneer. It was my first time seeing a scene like this up close. Even as a medical student, I almost vomited on the spot. I knew my chance of escaping alive was slim, so I simply lay on the floor and played dead. The gunfire around me gradually thinned, but the sound of high heels abruptly stopped in front of me. Boss pay. It's all taken care of. The Liu family has given me such a generous gift. How do you think I should repay them? Whatever you want to do. Boss pay. I'll follow without question. Lin Man pledged her loyalty without hesitation, only to find her boss staring with interest at a dead man on the floor. He is quite handsome. What a shame. But I quite like this one. What does like mean? Boss Pei had abandoned everything in the United States, returned to Longguo under an assumed name to acknowledge her father. She hadn't even gotten off the ship when mercenaries sent by the Liu family tried to silence her. Not only did she kill them all, she was now admiring the results. Boss Pei is seriously twisted. What should we do with these bodies? Tiger sharks roam these waters year-round. Throw them all into the sea as fish food, especially this one here. Chop him into pieces before throwing him in. Boss Pei is getting more twisted by the day. Yes, on the deck, a group of men moved with military precision, tossing hundreds of bodies into the sea in perfect order. Lin Man walked over to the deck chair and called softly, Boss Pei, the dagger is here. Would you like me to chop him up now? Ruyan took the dagger, strolled over to my side. I'll do it myself. What on earth did she want? I lay perfectly still, feeling only a chill at the tip of my nose. The dagger was stabbed straight into the deck before me. The next second, the woman's fingertips lightly brushed over my blood-stained shirt and slowly slipped inside. This woman didn't play by any rules. What kind of twisted hobby did Boss Pei have? She was actually interested in a dead man. Just as I was about to give up pretending, a heavy force came crashing down on me, pinning my chest. Then, her lips crushed against mine. Her kiss was hot and uncontrolled. Her fierce possessiveness seemed ready to grind me to dust. I struggled in protest. Ruyan released me. Her voice edged with amusement. Had enough of pretending. I finally looked up and saw her face clearly. I had to admit, it was breathtakingly beautiful. I asked calmly, what exactly do you want? Lin Man's jaw nearly hit the floor. So all this time, with the dagger and the teasing, she was just playing with me. Ruyan wrapped an arm around my neck and sat on my lap. Her arms suddenly tightened, as if she wanted to crush me into her very flesh and bones. What do you think? I'm a man. I'd rather die than be humiliated. I won't sell myself. I never said I was buying you. Something that should have cost 100 million is being given away for free. Why wouldn't I take it? So, she was the one who bought me. That my survival amid the hail of bullets was her doing too. Am I saved? Since you saved me, could you take me home? I'll repay your kindness, I swear. Shh. I do all sorts of things. I just don't do good deeds. She looked like a little fox that had locked onto its prey, her gaze focused and excited. You. I've already claimed you. My lips trembling, I weakly forced out two words. How long? Until I get tired of you. Has anyone ever told you how incredibly handsome you are? You're gorgeous. I suddenly shoved her to the floor and turned to run, but there was no sound behind me. I looked back and saw the witch slowly rise from the floor, advancing with terrifying pressure. Don't come any closer. I swung myself over the railing. The howling sea wind buffeted me like a scrap of paper, leaving me swaying on the verge of falling. I've killed plenty of people, but I've never met anyone as unafraid of death as you. From her expression, She had clearly decided. I wouldn't dare jump. The sea churned violently below, with great white sharks circling. I really didn't want to die. My studies weren't finished. I hadn't yet inherited my grandfather's medical legacy. I hadn't even truly seen the world. Ruyan's patience had clearly run out. Her voice held nothing but arrogant, unquestionable authority. Either die, or do it. I'll take that as choosing the latter. Ruyan. Remember that name. That's your woman's name. When I didn't react, the woman looked teasingly at me as I was held up and said, "Say it. Let me hear you." I stared at the woman's lips, as if I'd suddenly thought of something. I murmured, Ruyan. Heh. How long has Boss Pei been inside? 7 days. I finally understood why Boss Pei had told me to wait 7 days before bringing over Mr. Wen's file. Why are you standing so far away? Sister Ruyan, here is the information you requested. When Chen, 20 years old, a sophomore in the traditional Chinese medicine department at Jiangcheng University, both parents deceased since childhood, raised by his grandfather, who runs a clinic. Sister Ruyan, are you going to the Liu residence now? You're being welcomed back into the family today. The entire Liu family is there. Take him back to Mandao first. Yes, ma'am. On Mandao. I sat on the sofa, listening to the servants chat. What normal person would build a house in a place like this? Exactly. I heard these flowers are highly poisonous. Those are black Datura flowers. They symbolize unknown darkness, death, and love in exile. Those flowers are just like that woman. Cold, bloodthirsty, and insane. Right now, the most important thing was escaping. When Grandpa doesn't see me come home, he'll definitely worry. Just then, the roar of helicopter blades sounded outside. You either pretend to be dead or pretend to be asleep. You fainted on the boat. Don't tell me that was an act 2. Did you need something? Yes, I need something from you. I rolled out of bed. Ruyan walked up to me, speaking in a lazy, seductive tone. But I'm here for you. See, could we wait a few days? I'm not feeling well today. What feels wrong? Instinctively, I turned my head aside. Ruyan's face instantly turned cold. You're very afraid of me. Anyone who wasn't afraid of you would be the strange one. As long as you behave, apart from freedom, I can give you anything. Can you give me your life? Yeah, I gave a perfunctory reply. Ruyan finally released me and turned into the bathroom. I couldn't provoke her. Otherwise, my chance to escape would become even slimmer. At last, I breathed a sigh of relief and went downstairs for a glass of water. Before the water even reached my lips, a loud crash came from upstairs, followed by the woman's scream. Get out. Get the hell out. Who upset her this time? I hurriedly set down my glass and headed for the stairs. From afar, I saw a man kneeling at the end of the hall. He was one of the 2 servants from earlier. I obediently stood beside Ruyan. What is it? HMPH. The second you went downstairs, some man slipped into my room. What am I supposed to think? She actually suspected I'd arranged for this man to come. She thought far too highly of me, so I could make requests later. I had no choice but to flatter her. It's because you're irresistibly charming. All these talented men are scrambling to throw themselves at you. Hearing that praise, Ruyan's expression visibly softened. Is that so? I nodded furiously. Ruyan threw herself into my arms. Then why aren't you throwing yourself at me? I could only give an awkward, bitter smile. Just then, Lin Man reached the 2nd floor and noticed the tense atmosphere. She tried to slip away. Hold it. Drag this man downstairs. Miss Pei, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I'll never do it again. I'm begging you. Ruyan, never give anyone a second chance. Before she finished speaking, the bodyguards rushed in and knocked the man unconscious. This woman was terrifying. That servant had been with her for years, at least. Yet she disposed of him without hesitation. If she ever got tired of me, my fate would probably be worse than his. Scared, she seemed to find my furious but silent expression amusing. Then she kissed me hard. You've pleased me. As long as you're good, you'll have the final say in this villa. Of course, you can try running away, but the result will be this. You'll never see your legs again. Do you hear me? Miss Pei, I'll never do it again. I swear I'll never appear before you again. Ruyan, let him go. Heh. What? You feel sympathy for a man who tried to get into your woman's bed. How compassionate of you. Then again, without a kind heart. How could you become a doctor? This is bad. She's investigated every detail of my life. That makes taking Grandpa and escaping far harder than I imagined. As for school, I couldn't even leave this villa. How could I possibly finish my studies? If you take good care of me and keep me happy, I might consider letting you return to school. If you dared climb into my bed, you'd better be prepared to die. No, please, no. Miss Pei, spare me. Wait. What will it take for you to let him go? What an innocent college boy. With that, she waved behind her, ordering the bodyguards to bring the kitchen water dispenser into the middle of the living room. What's wrong with the water dispenser? Mr. Wen, in the water dispenser, we detected a large amount of magnesium sulfate. The amount per 100 milliliters is 50 times the safe dose. The security footage shows the servant poured it into the tank before you came downstairs. Magnesium sulfate is a powerful laxative. She has no grudge against me. Why would she try to hurt me? Wasn't she afraid she'd accidentally kill Ruyan with it? If she hadn't stopped me just now, that glass of water would already be in my stomach. I looked at her, not knowing what to say for a moment. Though I hated this woman to the core, I had to admit, she had saved me time and again. Once in a shootout, once when I fell into the sea, and now this time. Words aren't enough. Give me something real. Come kiss me. I glanced at the people around us, but didn't move. Pei Ruyan swept her gaze around the room and coldly uttered 2 words. Everyone, get out. The bodyguards immediately dragged the servant outside. Could you not kill him? Pei Ruyan looked at me with leisurely amusement. That depends on how you perform. I lowered my eyes and awkwardly pressed my lips to hers. After that, I had no idea what to do. Pei Ruyan frowned and mocked. Did you graduate from kindergarten? The next morning, Pei Ruyan woke up to find the space beside her empty. What? Where is he? As soon as she reached the hallway, she saw me standing at the top of the stairs, looking up at her. I made breakfast. Want to come down and try it? My eyes held a gentle warmth, like spring sunshine. Pei Ruyan looked at me suspiciously too. Did the sun rise in the west? Just as she was about to come downstairs, she realized she was wearing only an extremely short nightgown. Wait there. My smile vanished instantly. The moment I disappeared, she'd been so anxious that she hadn't even bothered to get dressed. If I had actually run away, she would have ground my bones to dust. I turned and went back to the kitchen, laying out breakfast piece by piece on the table. Did you do something shady? I calmly took a sip of milk. What could I possibly feel guilty about? The woman spotted the milk beside me and snatched it up, draining it in one gulp. Don't you have your own? Why drink mine? Pei Ruyan set down the glass, then reached over and wiped the milk from the corner of my mouth. She brought her finger to her lips and slowly licked it. She looked as though she'd tasted an exquisite delicacy. I instantly understood what she was implying. My scalp tingled. I hurriedly rubbed my mouth with the back of my hand. The woman smiled and said, "Since you've worked so hard to please me, go on. What do you want? Can I use your study to go online? I'm bored out of my mind here." Pei Ruyan's eyes instantly turned cold. Being with me is so boring? You clearly have too much free time. Eat properly. I'll be waiting for you tonight. With that, she leisurely bit into the toast in her hand. The spreadable cheese smeared across her fingers. Staring at me, she licked the cheese from her fingers, watching her look at me as though I were that cheese. My heart sank to the pit of my stomach. Fortunately, I eventually got permission to use the internet. I opened the computer and began looking up information about the island. The Lu family's eldest daughter, Lu Xiao. Was that the Pei Ruyan I knew? The Lu family was the foremost old money clan in the Jiangnan region. They had risen to power in Southeast Asia years ago. Only through 3 generations of leaders had they gradually gone legitimate. Pei Ruyan was the eldest daughter whom Lu Qingkang, the current family head, had only recently acknowledged. Her birth mother was unknown. Lu Qingkang had 3 wives. His first wife was Chuang Yulin. She devoted herself to Buddhism and lived in seclusion year-round. She had no children after marriage. His second wife was Yang Yahui. She came from the countryside and became a maid in the Lu household. After seducing Lu Qingkang, she gave birth to a daughter, Lu Nian, and successfully became his second wife. The third wife, Su King, was only in her 30s. She took excellent care of her looks and figure, and had 1 daughter, Lu Xiu. From morning until noon, throughout that brief half-day, news about the Lu family kept popping up, flooding the screen. But as for this island, one found only one name. Beyond that, there was nothing. Now I finally understood why that maid had risked her life last night to do such a thing. Mr. Wen. Ms. asked me to see to your meals. See to me. More like watch me. Ma'am, What should I call you? You can call me Auntie, sir. When we reached the dining room, I realized that throughout the entire villa, every servant had been replaced with women around 50, with looks like Pei Ryans. Would 50 even make a difference? Even 80 wouldn't be enough. What a pointless precaution. Before long, more than a dozen beautifully prepared dishes were brought out one after another. It was far more food than one person could finish. I looked at Auntie and asked, "Have you eaten? Would you like to join me?" Oh, I couldn't. "Please eat by yourself, sir." I didn't press her. I picked up my chopsticks and began digging in. As I ate, I casually probed, "Auntie, how long have you worked in this line of work?" Auntie gave an awkward smile. "I only started this year." "I see. I'd been hoping Auntie might know some of the Liu family's hidden gossip, so I could learn more about that crazy woman." "You like carrots, sir?" "Yes. I couldn't say I didn't. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any next time." On Auntie's slightly weathered face, a faint smile appeared. "You're so much like my son, sir. You both love carrots." "You have a son, Auntie?" "He must be quite a bit older than me then. I suppose he was about your age." "But he passed away at the start of the year." "When you say he was gone, you mean he passed away?" "It's all in the past. I should have set my escape plan in motion that afternoon to keep that woman from clinging to me again that night. If I escaped, what would happen to Auntie? Would that crazy woman, Pei Ryan, kill innocent people without a second thought? I couldn't worry about all that. I didn't want to stay here another second. Grandpa was still waiting for me at home. He must be worried sick. Before Pei Ryan returned, I had to find a chance to escape. The weather is so lovely. Would you like to take a walk, sir? Didn't the butler tell you I'm not allowed to leave? He did, but you can't stay cooped up inside forever, sir. You'll go stir crazy. Could I really be this lucky? Could Pei Ryan have changed her ways? Did she arrange this on purpose? Whatever. Escaping was what mattered. Then let's slip out while the butler isn't around. If we're caught, say I insisted on taking a walk. That way, you won't be punished." "All right. That would be wonderful." As a servant in this villa, wasn't Auntie being a little too bold? But bold was good. It suited me perfectly. "Then, we'll leave in 5 minutes. You're so much like my son, sir. You like carrots. You like to smile, and you're tall and thin like he was. You even speak to me with that same happy smile." I strode upstairs to gather a few necessities. An escape plan took shape in my mind. Jiangsheng Central Business District. "Miss, he's confessed. Second Madam Yang Yahui was behind the assassination. Should we send this person to Chairman Liu?" "Old Master Liu, why would he care about the daughter my mother left behind? After all, she betrayed him once. What would it matter even if I were killed? When you return, miss, I'll take 3 lashes as punishment." How could I have been so stupid? If Chairman Liu truly valued you as his daughter, why would he hand Liu Pharmaceuticals over to you? Among all the Liu Group subsidiaries, Liu Pharmaceuticals has the lowest annual revenue. After all, a family that has spent a century building its power through bloodshed would hardly have much of a foundation in pharmaceuticals. Enough. If you go down, who will handle things for me? I hope that after seeing this report, miss, you won't fly into a rage. That's all. Second Madam has infiltrated 50% of Liu Pharmaceuticals executives. Another 20% have been infiltrated by Third Madam. More than half the company is outside your control, miss. Please calm down, miss. That truly is all. Lin Man answered without daring to lift her head. Look into Yang Yahui's daughter. That old bastard only cares about profit. What he can't stand most is having his interest harmed, right? Yes, miss. What is he doing? According to the report from the past hour, Mr. Wen was discussing taking a walk with a maid. Taking a walk? With a maid? Yes. They have now avoided the butler's watch and slipped out through the back door. Should we send someone to stop them? Put the feed through first. Yes, miss. Pei Ryan opened her tablet. Nearby, the middle-aged maid seemed to be saying something. Zoom in. I'm rich and beautiful. My admirers could line up from here to France. And someone actually says I'm not a good match. Does this maid have nothing better to do? She dares encourage Akin to find someone else. Is she tired of living? Beat that old woman up, then throw her out. Yes, miss. Miss. Wait. That man. He dares smile so happily when I'm not around. Am I some kind of monster? Let the maid stay. Should we send someone to escort Mr. Wen back to the villa? She didn't answer. She seemed lost in thought. Her gaze remained fixed on that carefree, youthful smile. There was longing in her eyes, almost envy, like someone who had lived in darkness all her life and was seeing sunlight for the first time. No need. Have the people on Man Island increase their patrols. Yes, miss. CEO Pei. The executive meeting this afternoon is waiting on you. Pei Ryan ignored her. Her eyes remained on the tablet. How did the dismissals go? They're done. Everyone who hadn't seen Mr. Win's face has been let go. The two who had seen him are under strict guard. Pei Ryan propped the tablet on her desk. On its screen, the man basked lazily in the sun behind her, his smiling profile frozen on the display. Night fell. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Escape Plan 1.0 had officially failed. People couldn't get off either. Not even a flight could get off this island. Every barge dock and helipad was guarded. Unless I jumped into the sea and swam back to Jiangcheng across the water, which was clearly beyond me. Still, I'd made an unexpected discovery. Beyond the villa grounds, elsewhere on the island, all kinds of medicinal herbs grew wild. It was practically a treasure trove. Thinking of it, I couldn't help getting up and opening the wardrobe. Atractalodes, white peony root, motherwort. I covered the herbs again. Just as I turned, a wave of fragrance enveloped me. What are you looking at? At her question, my heart clenched. I fought down my fear of being caught and spoke slowly. I saw the clothes you bought. A grown man like me doesn't need that many. If I didn't have to go out during the day, you really wouldn't need them. I raised my head slightly, careful not to meet her seductive eyes. I'm going to shower. But Pei Ryan pressed herself closer. Her eyes shimmered. Her long, curled lashes brushed my jaw like feathers. Let's shower together. I clenched the hem of my shirt. This was absurd. How had a woman reduced me to this? Pei Ryan moved away from me, deliberately slipping off her silver heels before me. I stared at her, rigid as a statue. Why are you so nervous? Weren't things between us quite pleasant on the boat? My face flushed from my cheeks to my ears. I could hear my uncontrollable heartbeat. Pei Ryan saw me frozen in place and pulled me toward the bathroom. What's wrong, brother? Shame and anger tangled inside me as I abruptly turned on the shower. Ice-cold water poured over me. I tried to regain a shred of reason. The water slowly grew warmer. Steam swirled around us. It was another sleepless night. Over the next few days, that woman Pei Ryan vanished somewhere. I seized the opportunity. I did everything I could to sneak out and gather flowers and herbs. This time, I was mainly gathering Datura flowers. Different parts of the plant have different toxicity levels. As long as the dosage was controlled, it could briefly paralyze a person's nerves without killing them. Two figures sat in a corner of the villa's backyard, grinding fresh flowers into powder and loading it into a spray bottle. He looked hesitantly at the person opposite her. Sir, are you really going to escape? Of course I am. And I'm taking you with me. I didn't understand. He, weren't you the one who said a wealthy, powerful woman like Ms. Pei wasn't a good match for me and urged me to find someone else? I did say that, but I didn't realize just how wealthy and powerful she was. She's not only the Liu family's eldest daughter. That whole spectacle this morning. There were planes and ships. She clearly isn't someone to mess with. Sir, what I mean is, if we're caught, put all the blame on me. Say this old woman had bad intentions and push you to force her. As a man, how could I let Auntie take the blame for me? How could I do that? This warmth I hadn't felt in so long reminded me of Grandpa. Sir, sometimes when I look at you, it's like seeing my son. He was in the prime of his youth too. So young, so full of life. These old bones of mine are nearly rusted through. I'm not much use. If you made me the scapegoat, it would truly be best for both of us. You're still young. You have a long road ahead. Auntie, listen to me. We will escape together. I promise. Back in the living room, the servants had already brought out dinner. Auntie, eat with me. Sir, that wouldn't be proper. How could I sit at the table? Sit down, Auntie. We're both going to escape anyway. Soon, we won't be master and servant. Sir, we should still be careful. Let's eat. We need to eat well tonight. We'll need our strength to slip away under cover of night. Oh, Auntie, just call me by my name. Calling me sir feels too formal. Then may I call you Akin? Of course. That's what my grandpa calls me. Akin, do you have enough cash? If not, Auntie can give you more. You and your grandpa will be leaving together. Travel expenses will add up. No need. Keep more for yourself. Find somewhere Pei Ryan can't find you, and live well. I don't have many expenses, just visiting my son's grave. And he suddenly stopped. I quickly realized why. If Ruyan truly wanted to find us, she would find Aunty's weakness. Visiting his grave now seemed impossible. Maybe that was for the best. It would save me from dwelling on the past and being unable to let it go. Auntie had never mentioned how her son had died, but from Auntie's voice, from the grief she couldn't conceal, I could guess that the story behind it was likely heartbreaking. Auntie placed the Debon fish in front of me. Eat. I lowered my head and picked at my rice. If it weren't for Ruyan, I think I would have loved this island. Akin, from now on, do as Auntie says. Find someone who treats you well, who cares about you, supports you, and makes you happy. Someone who makes you feel free. Stay far away from bad women. Don't listen to a word they say. Outside a private cemetery in Country M. Give him freedom? What a ridiculous fantasy. Have everyone patrolling the island tonight wear masks? Yes, miss. Should we issue gas masks? No. That would be too obvious. It would ruin the fun. Beside the headstone, a Datura tree quietly bloomed with flawless white flowers. Miss, second miss, because she can't repay her gambling debts. She threatened to blow up your Man Island tonight. Desperate people will do desperate things. Raise Man Island security to the highest level. We wouldn't want to frighten that innocent college student. Yes, seeing that it was nearly time, Lin Man opened the door and got out. She led a group of bodyguards into position around the cemetery's perimeter. The woman got out right after her and headed toward the center of the cemetery. When the woman's figure had dwindled to the size of a palm, Lin Man's phone rang. Ms. Lin, the island is under heavy bombardment. We have countless dead and wounded. What's going on? According to our scans, besides F-315 fighter jets over Man Island, there are also FX-class fighter jets, stealth fighters capable of evading missile interception. Fewer than 10 have ever been made worldwide. Miss has one. As far as she knows, the remaining ones were bought by other criminal organizations. That means Mrs. enemies are taking this chance to get involved. What do they want? They want Miss dead. Within the Liu family, someone is working with Mrs. enemies. Despicable. This is bad. Lin Man gave a complicated look to the figure kneeling before the distant headstone, then turned back and asked, what about Mr. Wen? It's too chaotic. The aerial footage isn't clear yet, but we can see that the main villa has completely collapsed. It collapsed. The bombardment will last at least several hours. Even if he survived, he likely won't live if he's buried beneath the rubble. Miss finally found a man she actually liked. What a shame. Lin Man let out a heavy sigh and hung up. Understood. Keep watching. Report any developments immediately. Yes, Lin Man heard bodyguards whispering among themselves. You must be new here. Of course, this is Mrs. Mother's grave. At this time every year, Miss comes here to pay her respects. She kneels for 3 whole hours. Mrs. affairs are not yours to gossip about. If these words somehow reach our enemies' ears, every grain of dirt in the cemetery will be blasted sky high. Ms. Lin, I deserve to die. When we return, I'll take 3 lashes. And you'll take 3 lashes too. From now on, if it isn't your business, don't go prying. Sigh. At times like this, Miss Pei hates being disturbed. Should we notify her? But what would telling her change? It's only a few planes and a few ships. Compared to the value of the armory, it's a drop in the bucket. Even if she flew back now, she wouldn't arrive for another 10 hours. Forget it. We'll wait until she comes out. Meanwhile, artillery fire raged across Man Island. Explosions thundered deafeningly. Thick smoke and raging flames shot into the sky. Sigh. Being a bird in a cage would be bad enough, but my life is in danger every now and then. Akin. Run ahead. Auntie, if we leave together. I'll carry you. Auntie, are you alright? Watch out. Auntie, can you hear me? Auntie, wake up. I can't die here like this, can I? Akin. Auntie. I'm taking you with me, right now. My grandpa is an incredible doctor. He can cure you. He can, I know it. I'll take you away now. Go live your own life. My child. If you get the chance, go see my son from me. Jiangbai District, Fuan Road. Number 66. Auntie. Then may I call you Akin? Akin. Do you have enough cash? If not, Annie he can give you more. Akin. Remember what Annie he told you. Find someone who treats you well, who cares about you, supports you, and makes you happy. Someone who makes you feel free. The weather is so lovely. Sir, would you like to take a walk? Didn't the butler tell you? I'm not allowed to leave. He did, but you can't stay inside all the time, sir. You'll go stir crazy. Why? Why does someone as kind as Annie have to suffer like this? Why? Miss, I failed to notify you in time. If that causes any serious consequences, Lin Man will bear full responsibility. Send me the security footage from before the bombing. Yes. Lin Man rose from the floor, drew the partition curtain, and returned to the front cabin. She was completely confused. Was Miss angry after all? Or wasn't she? In the rear cabin of the plane, Pei Ryan picked up the tablet beside her. Pei Ryan's fingers faltered over the screen. How much longer? Almost done. The tablet screen lit up with footage. The woman's fingers moved rapidly across the screen. Within seconds, 2 figures appeared in the surveillance footage of the villa's backyard. The timestamp was 10 minutes before the bombing. Lin Man, send a drone to circle the island. Sync the feed to me. A few minutes later, the drone searched like a headless chicken, flying aimlessly without a target. Li Man couldn't help asking, Miss, what are we looking for? Pei Ryan didn't answer her directly. Instead, she ordered, I'll take over. Li Man was confused, but still followed her young mistress's order and transferred control of the drone to the tablet. A thorough search began, centered on the villa, halfway around the island. Pei Ryan finally spotted a familiar figure on the gravel beach. It was indeed the older woman who had urged Chen to find himself a suitable partner. Is she already dead? Raise the camera another 50 meters. At the distant pier, a wooden boat had vanished. The woman's tightly pressed red lips curled upward ever so slightly. Send someone to check. If she's dead, don't burn her yet. Li Man asked. Alive? The curve of Pei Ryan's lips gradually widened. Her tone was faintly teasing, and a sly glint flashed in her eyes. Make absolutely sure she survives. Preferably, keep her barely clinging to life. Understood. I'll put a medical team on standby immediately. We'll handle her as you ordered. Have the car ready. Chen. Do you really think you can ever get away from me? Li Man was puzzled. Miss, aren't we returning to Man Island? No. Go to Finland Lane first. Mr. Wen's grandfather lives there. Is Miss planning to go there herself? To tell Mr. Wen that he's dead? No. That can't be right. That isn't her style. Just as Li Man wondered, she saw Pei Ryan lift the curtain and walk lightly toward the cockpit. Miss is going to fly the plane herself. The plane suddenly accelerated and headed toward Country A. The Liu family of Jiangsheng owned an estate spanning nearly 17 acres. It was like a paradise untouched by the outside world. In Ya Garden on the western side, there was an opera stage. The high, warbling strains of kung fu filled the stage. The peony pavilion. It had reached the final act. Yahui reclined in a bamboo chair. Death really does change things. He'd chase her all the way to the underworld just to see her. The servant was startled by her sarcastic remark. Yahui waved her hand, signaling the performers to leave the stage. She slowly leaned back in the bamboo chair and closed her eyes to rest. Qiyu, tell me, why did Master place that wretch's daughter at Liu Pharmaceuticals? What exactly was he thinking? I suppose the head of the family dislikes Miss. I think he's afraid she'll embarrass herself. When that wretch left the Liu family, she didn't have a penny to her name. What kind of daughter could she have raised? She practically crawled out of a garbage heap. What could she possibly know about running a company? Madam, do you think the head of the family gave Liu Pharmaceuticals to Miss so she could gain some experience? What did that woman do? Something utterly shameless. If Master hadn't been unable to forget her, why would he have taken that Pei Ryan woman in and even built Man Garden for her? You should have seen the day she was welcomed back into the family. When Master saw that face, his eyes went hazy. Second Madam just wants someone to vent her anger on. She's terribly difficult to serve. That's true. How could living women like us ever compete with Pei Ryan and her dead mother? The dead are the ones Master misses most. A loud cry suddenly came from the front courtyard. Mom! Lu Nyan rushed in, flustered. Mom, what's the hurry? Mom, your daughter is finished this time. Yahui didn't seem concerned. Out of money again? Mom, this time, I'm really finished. Hurry and get Dad to save me. At that, Yahui's heart lurched. She quickly sat up and demanded, what kind of disaster have you caused this time? Didn't I tell you to behave lately? Dearest Mom, promise first that you'll get Dad to save me. Yahui rolled her eyes at her. Enough, tell me. She then forced herself up from the chair and sat at the nearby tea table. Go pour me some tea. Yes. Lu Nyan sat down across from her and hesitantly began. I owe money at the casino. I owe I lost 100 million. What did you say? 100 million? If that bastard daughter hadn't provoked me at the casino, I wouldn't have placed such a huge bet. 100 million. We should be able to scrape it together. Mom, there's something else. I bombed her island. You did quite a fine job. If we can't have a good life, neither will she. That's my girl. What about Dad? Did she go complain to your father? Not yet. Dad doesn't know about it. If your father doesn't know, why rush to tell him? She'll tell him sooner or later. We might as well tell him first. Mom, didn't you teach me to seize the initiative? HMPH. I really gave birth to an idiot. You're not half as sharp as other people. Just look at you. If your father finds out, deny it to your dying breath. Do you hear me? You're my daughter, born from my womb, a young lady of the Liu family. Owing money or killing someone isn't a big deal. Just don't let your father find out. Otherwise, how will you compete with her for the inheritance? Mom, do you think Ruyan might be rich? How much money could she possibly have? If she were rich, would she have come back to acknowledge this father? She's only after the Liu family's fortune. Then how could she afford that island? HMPH. How much could that dump be worth? It's covered in poisonous flowers and weeds. No one wanted it at auction 2 years ago because they said it would disrupt the feng shui. But none of the people I sent came back. They all died out there. Absolutely impossible. If her daughter knew those people had been sent by me, there's no way she wouldn't take this straight to master. Mom, I think the island's feng shui was responsible. If she were rich, why would she be satisfied with the pittance that is Liu Pharmaceuticals? I think the island's feng shui is simply bad. It must have cursed her people to death. That's true. That little wretch didn't even notice the person I planted in Liu Pharmaceuticals. She clearly knows nothing about running a company. How could she possibly be rich? All right. Go home. I'll cover the money for you first. That way, she won't be able to complain to your father later. That's wonderful, Mom. Thank goodness I have you. Love you. Keep this matter buried deep inside you. Do you hear me? Buried. It must stay buried. HMPH. The entire Finland lane had been cleared. Ruyan strode toward the end of the alley. At the entrance of the dilapidated clinic, the roll-up door stood half open. The atmosphere was deathly quiet. The woman raised the roll-up door and ducked into the clinic. Miss. This is Mr. Wen's grandfather. This bloodstain dried long ago and turned black. Judging by its color, it's been here for a long time. She made a hand signal. Li Man understood at once. Nothing found. Fall back. Search outside. Yes. A faint sob suddenly came from the 6 o'clock direction. It was so soft, it nearly vanished into the air. Ruyan turned around and walked toward the woods beyond the backyard. The moment she stepped into the woods, she saw the person she had been searching for. Chen. I knocked her hand away. Get the hell away from me. It was impossible to tell whether Ruyan was angry or worried about me. As she spoke, she stepped forward and lifted my head. My furious eyes were bloodshot. You don't even want to look at me. Countless corpses from the island flashed through my mind. I remembered people's agonized cries. I remembered helplessly watching Auntie die. You lunatic. You demon. You killed so many people. You caused Auntie to die. My grandfather is missing too. It's all because of you. Get away from me. Get away. I stood up and glared at the woman before me. The woman didn't answer. She simply took out her phone and ordered, Li Man, bring the car here. I'll send you the location. She was going to take me back again. Ever since I met Ruyan, nothing good had happened. Auntie was dead. My grandfather had disappeared. My life had collapsed. Soon, Li Man stepped out of the black sedan. Miss, Ruyan casually said, take him to the hospital. I'm not going. HMM. You're mine. Where do you think you're running? Her seductive voice rang out. A silver needle suddenly pressed against the woman's neck and landed precisely over her carotid artery. I stared at her with grim resolve. Let me go. Li Man nearly died of fright when she saw this through the window. She hurried to open the car door, only to find that, at some point, it had been locked from the inside. Li Man knew this was Mrs. Intention and could only stand outside helplessly. Inside the car, Pei Ryan watched me with amused interest. Go on, do it, big brother. I suddenly feel that dying with you might not be so bad. Pei Ryan, you are a complete lunatic. She spoke as if it were something to look forward to. Pei Ryan calmly sat down on my lap and pressed close to my ear. You stole so many plants and flowers from my island, and I never even made you pay. But Chen, haven't I been good enough to you? Every move I made had been completely transparent beneath her watchful eyes, yet I had actually dreamed of escaping Man Island and slipping from her grasp. If I went back, this woman would never let me leave to search for Grandpa. Without Auntie, without Grandpa, being a caged bird without freedom would be no different from death. I couldn't stain my hands with blood. A piercing scream nearly burst my eardrums. There was no pain in my neck. When I turned my head, the silver needle was embedded in Pei Ryan's palm. Fresh blood ran from the puncture wound. I stared at her in shock. Pei Ryan frowned at her crimson palm. She forced me to meet her gaze, her eyes filled with anger and reproach. Do you want to die that badly? What's the difference between being imprisoned by your side and being dead? To him, what am I? Hell. That isn't entirely wrong, but even so, I could never let him go. Doesn't he love that old woman? Then I'll give him a reason to live. That old woman isn't dead. Pei Ryan raised a hand to signal Li Man outside the window. Miss, we'll bandage your hand when we reach the hospital. If you promise not to run away, I'll allow you to stay with her. And you still want to find your grandfather? Pei Ryan agreed without hesitation. Fine. I didn't know whether this was right or wrong, but I had no choice left. Did I? Actually, I hadn't meant what I said earlier. She hadn't caused Auntie's death. I had said it deliberately. I never expected her to actually accept the blame. I'm sorry. Thank you for saving Auntie. What did you say? Pei Ryan stared at me in disbelief. No one had ever said those 3 words to her in her entire life. Then what about the needle you stuck in me? How are we going to settle that score? Chen, you had that coming. You just had to wait until the very last moment to use Auntie to control me. What a silver-tongued devil. Still, I think I like Chen better when he shows his claws. You think fast. At least Chen isn't as afraid of me anymore, right? I suppose I could consider letting Lu Nian off the hook. Through the glass window, I saw Auntie lying in the intensive care unit. Tubes covered her entire body. She seemed too weak even to breathe. Hey, I heard that of every 3 people admitted to this intensive care unit, it's lucky if even 1 comes out alive. This one looks like a lost cause. Exactly. Just look at that monitor. That alarm has gone off several times in just half a day. I'd say she's in far worse shape than our old man. Who are you? What gives you the right to hit people? Attacking someone in broad daylight. Is there no law anymore? I told her to hit you. Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you hit me? Get on your knees and apologize, or you're not leaving here today. I dare to kneel. But do you dare accept it? What a joke. I'll kneel to you if I don't beat you until you're begging everyone for mercy. What, Lu? Don't say it. That woman looks like she's from the Lu family. She's the eldest, miss. Let's get out of here. Consider yourself lucky. Erase the security footage. Yes, miss. Even if miss hadn't ordered it, I would have erased it anyway. Every trace of Mr. Wim beside miss must be removed. No one can ever know. Haven't you seen enough? I want to stay here and watch. Auntie, if you're busy, you can go back first. Don't worry about me. What kind of attitude is that? You talk to me now, without even being polite. No. What are you doing? Pei Ryan stopped. Her eyes slowly roamed over my face. My heart jolted. I quickly turned my head away. Pei Ryan, this is a hospital. HMPH. That's why I told you to go home. But you refused. I thought you wanted to stay here. If you don't want to stay, then come home with me like a good boy. For a moment, her teasing left me speechless. If you insist on disobeying me, I can't promise what I'll do next. I had no choice but to say. Auntie might suddenly wake up, What then? She needs someone here. You have to find someone to watch over her. Ryan parted her red lips and uttered 2 words. Beg me. You despicable. Shameless. Please. I don't like to settle things with words. What does that mean? She pulled me down to the parking garage. Tonight? However many times you come, I'll find that many people to guard the intensive care unit. I climbed into the car, stone-faced and silent. She propped up her head with one hand and tilted her head at me. She looked inexplicably pleased. Ryan's stare made me deeply uncomfortable. What? Have you fallen for me? Once again, I witnessed this woman's staggering power. Only 1 day had passed since Man Island was bombed, yet already, the villa had been completely restored, except for the plants and trees. That would take a long time to grow back. Everything else was nearly identical to before. In the living room, Ryan lounged against the sofa, wearing a plain silk nightgown. The soft fabric perfectly outlined her figure. Mr. Wen, all the paper documents from your grandfather's clinic, including prescriptions, financial records, medical files, notes, and ledgers, anything with writing on it, is here. We've conducted a preliminary inspection and preserved them. Thank you, Sister Li Man. If I had been searching alone, I don't know how long it would have taken. The person you should thank is right here. Big brother. Make sure you thank the right person. This lunatic can be rather childish sometimes. I helplessly offered a perfunctory thank you. Thanks. There. Happy now? Li Man stood to the side, looking like she wanted to speak, but thought better of it. In a scene like this, should I leave first, or grit my teeth and interrupt them? To be fair, I seriously suspect the eldest miss is a masochist. She seems to like people who have to be dragged kicking and screaming. When Ryan saw that Li Man still hadn't left, she asked, Speak. According to the blood test, the pool of blood on the floor did belong to Mr. Wen's grandfather, Mr. Du Mengping. It was determined to be from over a week ago. That was the same time you were kidnapped and taken onto the yacht. Grandpa and I were just ordinary citizens. How could we have ended up in something like this? Who was behind it? What did they want? I became so absorbed in my thoughts that I failed to control my grip and squeezed Ryan's hand bright red. Ryan wasn't a jinx at all. She had saved me several times and helped me in countless ways. I couldn't help leaning closer and gently blowing on Ryan's wound. The woman froze as she watched me. Ryan suddenly threw herself into my arms and hugged me. She tilted up her head and put on a pitiful expression. Brother Chen, it hurts. She rarely let anyone get close. Even when injured, she never made a sound. She was the heiress who had forged herself into an iron rose. Yet she could actually act spoiled with this man. This man truly was no ordinary person. Miss, second miss, she, at the mention of serious business, Ryan released me and sat up. Speak. Second madam has already paid off second miss's 100 million yuan debt. She's acting very cautiously. For now, we can't determine whether she colluded with the NGÓN organization to mastermind the attack on Man Island. Should we bring her here and interrogate her? What's the fun in torturing her? Wouldn't it be more interesting to make her come begging? Notify all senior executives at Lu Pharmaceuticals. Have the bidding materials ready immediately. The target is the sales agency rights for K19's first batch. Yes, miss. Didn't you plan to make second Miss Lu Nian pay? Let her off. Following the principle that the more you know, the sooner you die. I stood up to leave. If I could switch off my hearing, I'd give anything to be deaf right now. Hey, it still hurts. Whoever caused the injury is responsible for it. I've accepted her help, so I can hardly refuse her. Today, I saw the equipment in Auntie's room. Every piece was top of the line. It must cost a fortune every day. And the clues to finding Grandpa were placed in front of me within just a few hours. Maybe she wasn't so bad after all. I must be losing my mind. How could I possibly think this lunatic was a decent person? What kind of plants do you like? I looked around. I like them all. How about Chinese medicinal herbs? Don't you like? Shh. They're bad luck. Ryan, a lunatic who treated human lives as worthless as weeds, actually cared about whether something was lucky. Even the Grim Reaper would probably cross the street to avoid you. Oh, if it's free, why not? Brother Chen, let's go back to the bedroom. As if in a trance, I lifted her and carried her inside. As we climbed the stairs, Ryan wrapped her arms around mine and began shamelessly running her hands over me. Chen, be my man. Except for freedom. I can give you anything. Can I at least have a phone? And go to school? That depends on you. Since I couldn't escape, then I might as well use her to my advantage. Lin Man. Find 3 people to guard that old woman. And a Chen. When searching for Grandpa, send someone to help him. Oh, yes, if there's nothing else, miss, I'll hang up. Soft moonlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows onto the edge of the bed. Ruyan lounged lazily in my arms. Her fingertips gently traced the lines of my palm. I gazed at her. Rare softness filled my eyes. The impenetrable wall around my heart had finally developed a quiet crack. From the moment she bought me for 100 million at the auction, to the deck, where she bent down and kissed me as I pretended to be dead, and then to the days and nights we spent together on Man Island. Looking back now, she had saved me from a hail of bullets and protected me from assassination. For my sake, she had even given up the black Datura flowers filling her courtyard, symbols of darkness. In the eyes of outsiders, she was an unhinged heiress who killed without blinking. Yet only from me did she hide a tenderness no one else knew. She lifted her head, her lips brushing my jaw. I tightened my arms and held her closer, thinking about Grandpa and Annie. At the mention of Grandpa, Ruyan's expression turned slightly cold. As for Mr. Du, I've found some leads. Really, Grandpa. And a week ago, what exactly happened to the blood at the clinic? The previous test results were wrong. The blood at the clinic wasn't Grandpa's. It was a false clue deliberately left by the NGޯN organization. Their goal was to lure you into their trap. Your kidnapping wasn't a coincidence at all. They were after your grandfather's inherited secrets of traditional Chinese medicine. So that's why. I understand now. No wonder the time I was kidnapped matched the time the clinic was attacked down to the minute. No wonder Yang Yahui, Lu family's second madam, was determined to kill me. No wonder Ruyan had been protecting me in secret. All of this was a scheme targeting Grandpa and his secrets of traditional Chinese medicine. The NGÓN organization had coveted your grandfather's secret formula for a long time. They had repeatedly tried to seize it, but he refused them every time. So this time, they joined forces with Lu family's second madam and kidnapped you first, trying to force Grandpa to surrender. Then they bombed Man Island to wipe out every last trace. Lu Nian's gambling debts were all backed by Yang Yahui. She wanted to use outsiders to eliminate me, the Lu family's heiress, then seize the formula you and Grandpa possessed, and swallow Lu Pharmaceuticals whole. I understand. What looked like Ruyan's madness in keeping me prisoner was actually her doing everything she could to protect me. What about Annie? She's out of danger. I've arranged round-the-clock care. Once she recovers, I'll send her somewhere safe, so she can enjoy a peaceful old age. Warmth spread through my chest. I lowered my head and kissed her forehead. Thank you, Ruyan. It was the first time I had sincerely called her by her name. Her eyes brightened slightly, like a child receiving candy. She reached up and hooked her arms around my neck. The next morning, Ruyan began planning her reckoning. This is a preliminary audit report covering the past 3 years. It identifies unexplained fund transfers in the projects you handled and irregular approvals. Before the end of the workday, I want your reasonable explanations and your resignation letters. All of this is real. Leave Yang Yahui and Lu Nian to me. What they owe me, what they owe Chen, and what they owe the innocent people on Man Island must finally be repaid. Soon. Yang Yahui was convicted of colluding with an overseas organization to commit premeditated murder and embezzling family assets. Stripped of all her titles and status, she was sent to prison for life, with no possibility of release. All of Lu Nian's gambling debts were recovered. The mother and daughter who once lorded it over the Lu family ultimately ended up disgraced and ruined. As for the NGÓN organization that had colluded with them, Ruyan uprooted it completely. She mobilized every resource at her disposal to raid the NGÓN organization's base and rescue Grandpa from house arrest. Du Mengping. When Grandpa appeared before me, I could no longer hold back. I rushed forward and hugged him tightly. Chen, you've suffered so much. Thank goodness for that girl, Ruyan. Otherwise, we might never have seen each other again. I turned to Ruyan, who stood nearby. She lowered her eyes slightly, a faint blush spreading across her cheeks. I took her hand. Grandpa, she was the one who kept protecting me. That's why I can stand here safely today. Ruyan, thank you. You're a good girl. Chen is lucky to have met you. Grandpa, I'll protect Chen for the rest of my life. I'll give him freedom and everything I have. After Annie recovered, Ruyan kept her promise. She took her to 66 Fuan Road in Jiangbai district to visit her son's grave on her behalf and arranged a secure, peaceful life for her. Kind-hearted Annie finally escaped the suffering of her past and began living in peace. Every black Datura flower on Man Island was uprooted. In their place, Chinese medicinal herbs covered the hills. Following my wishes, Ruyan transformed the island that had once been steeped in darkness into a medicinal herb garden that belonged to me. She was no longer the cold-blooded, ruthless Sister Pei. Instead, she gathered and dried herbs with me, prepared breakfast for me each morning, and at night, cuddled beside me to watch the moonlight, just like an ordinary woman. I returned to Jiangshang University's traditional Chinese medicine program to complete my studies, and inherited Grandpa's clinic. Ruyan turned down most social engagements, and attended classes with me every day. The men who once pursued her could have formed a line all the way to France, but from then on, I was the only one in her eyes. When Chen, for the rest of your life, you won't get away from me. I won't run. With you by my side, anywhere can be home. For all the years to come, year after year, we'll never be apart.